everyone, welcome to Quilts on Tour. My name is Alicia and today I want to show you how to make a quilt sandwich using pool noodles. This is the easiest, best method that I found for putting your quilt together to get it ready for quilting. There's no crawling on the floor, laying it all out. It's just so much simpler. So what you need is a quilt top, batting, and a quilt bottom, 3 pool noodles, some safety pins. These are the angled quilt pins. Just makes it easier to get in there and get your all 3 layers. And basting spray. This is just Taylor basting spray. Some people use 505, I think it's called. I haven't tried that yet. I've just tried this. I might try that one when this runs out. So let's get started. So I'm going to put these to the side. And these here. And we'll start with the quilt top first. Put these over here. So when you go to roll up your quilt top, you want it to be facing you. So we'll unroll it here. So we'll lay it all out on the table like this. And my quilt top is a little longer than my table, but that's not a problem. We dropped our pool noodle. So I actually want it to start at the bottom. And get my pins. So you just kind of make it even, like I've got the borders and that kind of, like the noodle is just about as long as the bottom. And then you roll it up a little bit. And you push a pin in here to hold it onto the noodle. And you do the same thing on this side. Put a pin here. And one in the middle. And that just holds your fabric onto the noodle without it sliding off. You could also, I've seen people use washi tape, but I think the pins work just fine. And you just kind of roll it up and keep it as tight as possible. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Alright. Put this over here. And then we'll do our batting next. So this is Warm and Natural batting is the brand. I got this at Joann's with a coupon because why pay full price when you have a coupon, right? And Warm and Natural doesn't really have a right or wrong side. So whatever side. Take our pool noodle. This is a little longer than my quilt top. So just the same thing. Take 3 pins here. Middle. And same thing. Just try to keep it as tight as you can. The edges. And try to keep all the crinkles out as you roll it up. It'll just make unrolling it that much easier. Alright. There's the batting. Alright, the last is our backing fabric. And my backing fabric is the same. It doesn't have a print. It's the same back and forth. But I do have a seam. So that is my downs. So you want it facing you. So you want the back of your batting to face you when you go to roll it up. So So if this were a pattern, the pretty side would face down. But since it's solid, I have my seam facing me. And I actually want it to go the other way. The reason I flipped it is, I don't know if you could see or not, but it's not quite even right here. So I want to start out with the smaller side and end with the bigger side. I've done it before where I started on the bigger side, and by the time I got to the smaller side, it didn't fit. Okay, so same thing. Pull noodle. Just try to get it. It doesn't have to be exactly even on each side, but the more you have it even, the easier it will be when you go to unroll it. Okay. And again, just start rolling it up. This fabric is really wrinkled. I've already ironed it and it just doesn't like to stay straight. And again, the less crinkles you have when you roll it up, the easier it will be when you go to unroll it. Too crinkly. Come on. All right, so there we have the back, the batting, and the quilt top. So when you lay these out on your table to unroll, you're going to flip it around so that the bottom is down here. We're going to unroll it like this to cover the bottom. And then you take the batting, and I hit the ceiling. So my batting and my back it's cut pretty close. So I want to make sure that I have these lined up pretty well. Normally you can just kind of flop it on here because your batting is always bigger, but I had already trimmed it up. So I want to make sure that my batting comes all the way to the bottom of my backing and that the sides are pretty even. And this is where you would spray the basting spray to hold the back onto it. I'm not going to do that right now because if you've ever used this before, you know that it gets everywhere and that it smells. So I don't want to spray and it's going to get on my camera and my microphone, which I really don't want it to do. And I also want to open up my windows here for ventilation because it really does smell. A lot of people do this outside. I don't have a table that I could do it on outside, or I probably would do it outside just because this stuff really does smell. So we're going to pretend to spray and then roll out our batting. Okay, and smooth it down. Make sure all the wrinkles are out. And then because of the way we rolled the quilt top with it facing us, when we go to unroll it, it's going to unroll the right direction. So just always remember, batting goes face down, quilt top goes face up when you roll it, and then when you go to unroll it, it will be perfect. So again, because my backing material and my quilt top are almost the same size, I'm going to line the bottoms up here pretty close. Normally I wouldn't worry with it because normally it's, your backing is a lot bigger, so you can just kind of flop it on there, but it is pretty close to the same size, and I don't want to have to redo this again, especially once I spray it. So again, we're going to pretend I'm going to spray, and we'll spray here and unroll it and get out all the wrinkles. Wrinkles. So see how flat that pretty, even without the spray, that's pretty flat. And then I'm going to pin. So since I'm using this spray, because I'm going to do this off camera, spray it. So I'm not actually going to pin at this moment, but you'll see at the end what it'll look like all pinned up. So usually I just do like a hand width apart, 6 inches. So, you know, I would put one here and then one up here. And then I would do the same thing. So hand width here, here, and here. And that usually keeps it in pretty good, you know, pretty good spacing, so it stays while you're quilting. The only thing that I wouldn't do is if you live in a really humid area, if you're not going to quilt your quilt soon, don't leave it with the pins in, because your pins will rust. So I've seen people make their quilt sandwich and take another pool noodle and roll it on the noodle and store it that way until they can quilt it, and then you know, unroll it and pin it before they actually quilt, because of the issue of the pins rusting. Because who wants to have all their hard work and then have it rust? Not me. I would probably cry. So I'm going to show you how to do the next one without, I haven't put the pins in, but that's fine. So you just pull it all the way down to the edge. You unroll this. Spray with your basting spray. Unroll this. Spray some more. Unroll this. Smooth it out. And then pin, put as many pins as you want. The instructions for my spray is to iron it with the steam to activate. Sometimes I forget that step because I don't know why, but sometimes I do, and I still find that it works, but I think it would activate better if I put steam. And I'll probably do it like right here on my table, because I don't have like an excellent table. So, and this is pretty thick too, so I think, you know, if you just hit it with a quick steam, it's not going to mess anything up. But if you're doing this like on your dining room table, don't do that, because you might ruin your dining room table. But this method is like so super easy, such a back saver. I mean, last time, or before I did this method, I would put everything out on the kitchen floor, because I don't want to do it on my wood floor, because I don't want the safety pins to scratch the wood underneath. So I would lay them all out on the kitchen floor, or I would actually try and do it on the table, and that didn't work either, because it would slip and slide. But this just keeps everything nice and neat, and it's such a back saver. So let me go on and get it all the way to the end, and I'll be right back with you and to show you what it looks like when it's complete. Okay, so I'm back. So I have sprayed and pinned the rest of the quilt, and I just wanted to show you on this one little section left what I did after I sprayed it, because it's rather stinky, the spray, so I wanted to open up my windows, and I live in a really busy street, so I didn't want you to hear all the car noise. Plus I wanted to protect the camera and the microphone from the sticky spray that goes everywhere. So I spray. You can probably tell because it's sticky. See, it doesn't come up very easy. I sprayed that, and then sprayed this layer, and then I just run an iron over it really quick just to activate the adhesive in the spray. I mean, it's already kind of sticky, but this just kind of, I mean, that's what the instructions say, so I don't know if you have to, or got a little wrinkle there. If you're, say, you know, you don't have to iron, then you don't have to do this step. This is my ironing board. It's kind of occupied, so I'm doing it on the table. it's not a perfect, you know, it's just a work table, and I've got pretty thick layers here, so, and it's not, I'm not like heavily steaming, so I'm not worried about it ruining my table. But don't iron on a table that you don't want to ruin, because chances are then it'll ruin it. So this quilt is actually pretty easy to pin, you know, to figure out where to put your pins, because it's got the squares. So I've just been putting them in the square here and matching it up on the top, like on the borders in the same area. And so this one, I think I'm going to, I haven't actually fully decided how I want to quilt it. I think I want to put, I've got a lot of flowers in here, so I think I want to pick a flower and quilt a flower in each of the squares. And then in these rectangles here, I'm thinking like leaves or something, like a row of leaves. The same way up here. And then in this white border, I was thinking of using this, let's go cut down. Using this pattern in the border here to, you know, trace it with a pen or a chalk pen and quilt over that with this one. I haven't tried it yet. It's the new stencil that I got, so we'll see. And I haven't quilted anything yet on my new machine, so this will be the first one that my new machine will quilt. I'm really excited about it, because hopefully I don't have to wrestle it. On my other machine, it was just a tiny one, a tiny Singer heavy duty, which was, you know, it worked great, but like I said, I had to wrestle quilts if I wanted to quilt them, and it didn't have very many like fancy stitches and stuff like that. And since I've started to really enjoy this hobby, I decided that I really wanted something a little bit nicer, a little bit more heavy duty. So I can't wait to get that under my machine. Today I'm going to the quilt store to go get the walking foot that goes with it. And then I'm going to go to town on it. I can't wait. This quilt is actually for me. I've made a couple for other people and I haven't made one for myself yet. So I decided to splurge and make one for myself. And all that's left is the quilting and the binding. I'm super excited. My quilt will be done. So there you go. It is all pinned and ready to be quilted. And it's pretty straight. I don't have too many wrinkles or puckers, and so hopefully it stays that way. So I think what I'm going to do to store it is just roll it back up on one of these suckers, because that'll keep some of the wrinkles out and help keep it flat. I did get 4 of these pool noodles when I bought them. I got them at a store called Five Below. I don't know if you have, it's kind of like a dollar store, but, well, everything's under $5. But I got it at the beginning, like midsummer, so there wasn't a problem finding pool noodles. So if you see them on clearance and you want to do this method, I would pick it up. I would pick up a couple extra so that you could store your quilts this way. And if, like I said earlier, if you weren't going to be able to quilt it right away, I wouldn't put the pins in yet, but just roll it up on this thing. And then as you unroll it, pin it, because you don't want your pins to rust. That would make me cry. Probably really would. I'm just gonna safety pin this on here so it doesn't come loose, so when I put it in the closet it will stay together. All right, there you go, ready to go. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I'm not sure what adventure I'm going to go on next. I hope to, in the next couple of weeks, have a few quilt stores to go tour and show you. I've got 3 that are local to me, so I'm going to reach out to them and see if they want to do a little video. If you have a quilt store that you want us to feature on our channel, send me a message and let me know, or leave a comment and I'll get in contact with you and we'll try to set it up. Thanks for watching.